All right, so we've also got a bit of a beef that's brewing between Maphorisa and Dr. Malinga. I don't know what's going on there. I hear there's guns involved. There's other ones who are threatening Castunya. Why?
I don't know what threat he's saying with Dr. Malinga. If it's with a gun, I would be afraid. But if it's mortal combat, I must say, DJ Maphorisa, I mean, I don't have to speak. We've seen that leg and what it can do, my brother. You'll be DJing some Chris Baragwana.
Osho MMA vibes.
Because you don't want to catch that leg in your face, yeah. What up, though? Welcome to another hot episode of POPcast, and we're coming to you on our favorite channel, Channel O, and we've got a guest also coming through from the family.
Yeah.
Yes, sir,
What
yes, sir,
up?
yes, sir.
Yeah, man, Channel O, the big O, the staple die for every kid born in 1988, 89, 90, 91, 2, 3, 4, and it stops. So right now...
Basically, Monga, if you're not old, it's not for you.
Hey, you left out.
No, man, like you gotta also like speak to what Channel O did for urban music or just
Culture.
music for young people at the time. Looking at the dispensation, I mentioned those years because at the time, those people were the ones like, wait here, where is our product that speaks to our people the way we see our people? And Channel O has been that OG in the game when it comes to music, TV.
Shout out. Okay, I didn't greet my
Yeah, I mean, I'm just the high people.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, I've been chilling.
But I never know if people are coming back to the show, so I need to be
No,
sure.
Smash left my year out. I'm not gonna say which year it is, but you mentioned years and you left me out the game.
Can you get
So now I feel like, so which generation do I fall under?
Is that drama?
Good to have you with us here, bro.
Yeah, man. Good to be in your company. Thank you, guys.
Good to have you back on the podcast. What's happened after the last time you were here?
I actually felt like I didn't say enough.
Okay. So let's get into it. Why don't we? All right. So a lot has been happening in the past couple of weeks, of course, within the news section of entertainment. As we know, some of our favorite radio personalities have been let go from their radio stations. And they've kind of banded together to then say, should we do this radio station thing together or not? So you've got the likes of Robert Marawa, DJ Fresh, Thibaut Touch, as well as DJ Swoo. Should they be starting a new radio station? And I saw him on the Twitter streets. Is that really going to be happening?
Whether it's going to be happening or not will remain to be seen, I guess. But, I mean, the idea of it is always going to be interesting. You have four really big guys in the industry who've been around for altogether 30, 40 years in this industry, rocking it, and their track record is very well known, so I don't have to speak to it. But the idea of it sounds like Avengers, Nyana, doesn't it? Everyone loves like, oh, what's happening is Superman is gonna be with Batman, and then they're gonna be with Spider-Man, and then in theory, it sounds dope, right? And it sounds exciting, and we're all like, oh yeah, we're kind of rooting for it. But also, you understand, just because you're good on the decks doesn't mean that in front of the when you become the businessman, when you have to own the station and run it, you're gonna do so well. You know what I'm saying? Not to speak negatively per se, but we know Touch left Metro a long time ago, started his own thing, and he's still grinding at it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just happen because you're popping on Metro that tomorrow you start something and then it'll be the #1 channel. And that definitely has not proven to be the case. So I'm excited but cautiously.
I think personally for me, it's the crash of radio. And
Crash?
like it crash riding. They're playing games, bruh.
What?
Because
Who rings me?
they're playing games, those guys. And whether it's a real thing or not, if it's a real radio station, ICASA needs to be involved and give them a license. Last I checked, ICASA is stingy with the licenses. You know, so are you gonna go the Touch HD route?
Which I can tell you has proven
so
to
that
not
one
be very
also
successful.
but like also I'm speaking from it like from looking outside in, right?
Of course.
Where is it ego that's making you guys move that way? And if that is the case, like look at the times. So you have who's doing breakfast, who's doing 9 to 12, who's doing 12 to 3, who's doing 3 to 6.
We know Touch can't wake up in the morning.
And so someone will say, no, I don't want to do a 9 to 12.
Sure.
I'm not a 9 to 12 DJ or personality for that matter, you know? So in theory, and in like Avengers, get story. How to story, you did a movie, boom. But in terms of sustainability, I don't think it's going to be sustainable. But we also don't know who's working behind the machine. Are they those structures? Yeah, are they those structures where there will be a boss and everyone will agree to what the boss wants, the vision for the station? Is it Touch's vision? Is he going to be the boss and the on-air personality? And we've seen that can be a tricky situation.
Yes, it can be a very tricky situation. Like I said, it's easy for you to be a personality, a celebrity. As standing by themselves, they're all like big guys individually. When they come together, it seems like they should be very powerful and be able to execute something like this, in theory, pretty easily, or much easier than the next man. Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
But I will touch on this.
Yeah.
He's always been a leader and always paving the way for many.
Yeah.
Right?
Look at the podcast generation.
Yeah.
Look at the ability to go and say, I'm going to start a digital station or I'm going to start a community station on that. He's always been paving the way and ahead of the curve. So on that, I'm going to just say, you know what? He's a believer and he believes in his dreams and in himself and he can make anything happen. So he's reminding you that anything is possible. But as to whether it's going to sound nice, I don't know. As a radio head, I don't know, man.
I'd imagine they'd hire
It's going to be too much. It's going to be too much. I gotta breathe, dog.
Yeah, then also fresh. Then you wake up after fresh. You
know,
after and then you sleep. Give me a chance to breathe, my brother.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I do think maybe from a technical perspective, like you're mentioning, getting it all together might be a little tricky. But let's see, because anything is possible. We've seen Touch trying to, get himself in different spaces. All right, so we've also got a bit of a beef that's brewing between Maphorisa and Dr. Malinga. I don't know what's going on there. I hear there's guns involved. There's other ones who are threatening Kastunya. Why? Why?
Swapake biltong, sorry, I just wanted to say for those Swapake biltong.
Oh, right. For me, I mean, I don't know if I can take this seriously. It's certainly a little bit entertaining to imagine Dr. Malinga and DJ Maphorisa. Maphorisa always seems to find himself in these small little things where he sparks, and he's not scared to say, hey, man. Yeah, I started here. Last week it was him and Makwa. Week before that it was him and another person. A year ago it was him and... He's always seems to find himself in small little squabbles.
And it's always on his live.
So it's always on his live. He says that light, it's just there. You know, people are recording it. You know it's going to trend. I don't know what threat he's saying with Dr. Malinga. If it's with a gun, I would be afraid. But if it's Mortal Kombat, I must say, DJ Maphorisa, I mean, I don't have to speak. We've seen that leg and what it can do, my brother. You'll be DJing some Chris Baragwana.
Osho, MMA vibes.
Because you don't want to catch that leg in your face, yeah.
Get them in the ring. Get them in the ring. The reason why I said Keswaba, it's like tough meat.
Yeah.
It's hard to like
understand.
To chew. But it's nice. It slaps. Like, what's it? It's two grown men. These guys are dads, okay? Who are both from Pretoria. Malinga Thago, Hamanskrali, Sosha. They're supposed to be united. Cap City is experiencing the best time it has ever seen in SA music in terms of its influence and its way forward.
Yeah.
These guys have worked together before. They can work together. As to why this is happening now, right? All I'm saying from Maphorisa's live, which I saw, right, is Maphorisa just wants to be treated like a king everywhere he goes.
Yes.
That's what he wants. He must just be like, yo, I used to work with you back then, and you thought I was a little producer. Now I'm king. Show me some respect, you know? But he must do it live with that person if he feels that person owes him respect. Because he mentioned about he likes me now, he doesn't like me tomorrow, etc., etc. Two, Dr. Malinga is such a funny guy, guys.
Exactly.
What a funny guy. I don't think he meant anything he said. He was just being a clown.
Maphorisa, there used to be a guy when I was growing up who used to like beef with young kids. But after he beefs with you, he goes and buys you sweets and tells you where you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? He'll smack you, and he says, but kid, let's walk to the tuck shop. Let me show you where you went wrong. Dr. Malinga comes to me as a guy who would do the same thing. Like he would smack you, hit you with that leg, and pick you up with the same leg and says, let's walk down, let's go have a drink. Let's go once in a while and try it.
Let's go. You know
what I'm saying? It's like when your older brother smacks you or something, and then later on it's still like, hey, I'm still your older brother.
Yeah,
so wash the dishes.
But
I rate it's just friction between two artists that's probably just being blown out of context.
Private school.
It is what it is. All right, also in music news, we are celebrating, firstly, Elaine, who had dropped Elements 2 years ago, and I think it's still a really amazing album since it's dropped. People are still celebrating it, still enjoying the music. Nadia has hit gold status for Namin. I'm actually surprised that it's only hitting gold now, because I thought it was like a big hit at the time that it first came out, which also kind of speaks to the support for hip hop. And I think we need to kind of pick our game up because that was a big song at the time that it did come out.
Yeah,
It was a big
it's still
song.
a hot song, bro.
Yeah.
It's good to see her get a plaque, man. You know what I'm saying? She does work very, very hard. And I guess sometimes a lot, especially the women in the industry, catch a lot of flack. Yes,
Yeah.
catch a lot of flack. So congratulations to her first and foremost. It's a very dope thing. It doesn't matter that it came now or later. It was a smash hit then, so to see it being recognized eventually is good. I'm sure she feels also dope about it. So well done, Nadia Nakai.
Yo, I got a question.
Yeah.
So these gold plaques, are they on streaming or on actual purchases? Because we know the physical is gone.
Yeah.
We also need to be like, because I mean, you know, you spoke about the most streamed people.
Yeah.
So now if you get a plaque, is it a plaque based on the streams or based on how many people?
It's a collation of both of them. So it would be streams as well as purchases on the DSPs. Because you must remember you can buy the song on a streaming platform. And you can stream it as well. So the streams obviously accumulate to a certain purchase, and then even buying it will also then accumulate to that.
Yeah.
So it's usually a collation of the two.
Yeah, the reason why I want clarity on that, because we need to be very careful of what that means for the artist and what it means for the fans of the artist. And, you know, the last thing or the worst thing a fan could hear is that I bought that album, but the money did not end up going to the artist, because concerts are gone. I mean, as much as the pandemic is affecting everything and everywhere, and level 1 being there, so now you can gig. But at the end of the day, when you are paying your money as a consumer to support the person you love and because you enjoy the music, it needs to translate in their lives, you know?
Yeah.
So we need more clarity, DSPs. Thank you so much.
Hey, I guess, well, Smash obviously needs the clarity. I think we've spoken about this a couple of times in the POPcast, but I'll try and send you the stats and maybe you can kind of, you know, get it a little bit more. But I do think it needs to be a little bit simpler for people to understand.
That's my point.
From that perspective,
that's my point.
It starts with, do you own your own music? That's the departure point. You know what I'm saying? Who owns what? If you're independent, cool. Or you're streaming money, even if it's R1, it's your R1, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I guess when seeing her go gold, we know she's independent, even though she has distribution through major. So I'd imagine that a lot of the money from the streaming came to her. And Family Tree, I don't know what the division is like, that side. But the concerns are valid in terms of like, we want to know that you're actually doing well. Yeah. We don't want the sugar coating. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we want to know that our artists that are getting these plaques and all these streams that
what
they actually
they
do well. Yeah, do they mean money in the bank for you?
So there was a really hot event that happened this past week called FamousFriends.
Absolutely.
By our boy, hosted by Younger Chief. Obviously, that's off the back of his tweet where he was saying, hey, man, SA hip-hop is not being supported by the DJs. So he said, actually, I'm going to do something about it.
Okay.
And I appreciate the fact that he actually took the initiative to then say, let me host an event. Because you can complain all you want on Twitter, but do something about it. So shout out to Younger for doing something about it. Had pretty much the whole game performing at that event, but also had a little bit of a ruffling of feathers happening at FamousFriends, which we won't get into much into it because
that's not really. I know everyone. There's not much of a talking point. There was a scuffle. But it's hip hop. It's a contact sport. These things happen.
Exactly. But Sipho did kind of want to dive into how sustainable is it for us to get into big events like this and trying to bring the game back, even though it's not dead. But you know.
Now, hip-hop, of course, has been catching a lot of flack. You know, I, as a hip-hop fan, I throw a lot of flack to hip-hop artists. I'm always scolding them, just like every other hip-hop fan, locally and internationally. And especially now with the rise of Amapiano, it's always been that, hey, hip-hop, you know, you guys used to be on, you need to do something, get back in the game. Amapiano surpassed you, la-di-da-di-da. Hip-hop, getting bashed, right? Of course, the hip-hop artists have heard, they're annoyed, they're trying to get back, they're working. Everybody's trying to revive hip-hop and get it back to, you know, a very healthy place where everybody's eating again. I respect that move. And Younger responding and saying, let me do something to celebrate the game. That's dope. And I speak a lot about Oaks just need to work and make dope music. Don't worry about being friends. Don't worry about high-fiving each other. I don't have to come to your daughter's birthday. You don't have to make me your your children's godparent. That's not what I'm interested in. Respect comes at a level of respecting each other as musicians and seeing, oh, Smash is pushing this side, I'm going to push this side. And Smash can see me and he's like, oh, I see what he's doing this side, but can you see what I'm doing this side? There's that respect thing where you can look at each other and still be able to compete with each other. There's no need to be friends. This event, I'm not scolding, I'm saying what I hope it doesn't become a pattern where every weekend we're going to have an event and it's 100 hip-hop lineup every... That's not what it...
What's wrong with this?
That's not what uniting the game, I think, means. What is actually is the meaning of that? a hip hop event, like for example in America, you have Summer Jam. You know what I'm saying? You know, it brings a lot of hip hop artists together. It's a big deal, big names. You know, it's like BET Awards as well. It's a big weekend for hip hop as well. That's dope. It gives you a little taste once or twice a year. And if that's what Younger is doing, I'm about it. But you're saying what's wrong with doing it every week? Every week you're going there and you're seeing these same guys like they live in a hostel together.
It's not every week.
Not hostel.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, because it's not the first time it happened. Remember, it happened at another event as well, like a month ago.
Yeah.
So now I'm seeing a pattern every month that this thing has happened.
Uniting
hip hop doesn't mean we must all be friends. It means we must all compete at a very high level of the product that we're competing and respect each other.
I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't think they're saying let's compete with each other.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
what they're saying, it seems like let's be friends.
Yeah, so I don't think that's what they're saying either. I think the name is just Famous Friends because he's saying, yo, let all my famous friends come and perform. Sharp. I think it's just the name he went with. I don't necessarily think he wants everybody to get along.
Because I'm saying that's what the thing it creates.
Okay, I understand that. Fine. At the end of the day, there's also nothing wrong with an event happening monthly because events happen monthly all the time and you'll pay your money every month to go there. Just like you go to the club every weekend to go there. So I think he's just creating a movement for hip-hop to at least have something that they can, bench on to then say, okay, if we're going to try and find new artists, maybe we'll find them at that event. The same way like you could find it at like every other piano party that happens every weekend.
I just want to say this though, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong here. You are saying an event like this, 100 artists who are your famous friends, if you split it up into 20 weeks, you can break down the artists so you have like a weekly gig that serves different types of hip-hop and different following, which that can grow the game easily.
Sure.
Tenfold. Correct? That's what you want, right? Not like same people meeting at the same place, doing the same thing that we saw last month and the month before that. Now, here's also what's crazy, right? And when it comes to eventing and getting the audience to see the trend, you gotta build from somewhere.
Sure.
So the homies are building from somewhere. So you just gotta commend them on building on that.
Yes.
But they must also study the game long term. So you look like a Tshwane Fontaine, for instance. Tshwane Fontaine, you know? They've got homecoming events, which has got like other tiers which serve a different, audience demographic type. Even the person who can afford to buy the ticket on a bi-weekly or monthly or quarterly, etc. So from my end, I think like it's great what they did and what Younger did. I am just interested to see how sustainable it will be, not just for him, for every artist who's there, but also looking at the up-and-coming artists who need to come on. You know what I mean? So, and because hip-hop is about each one teach one.
Sure.
We gotta lift each other, but at the same time, ego stops us from...
That's my thing about it.
stops us from
it's
getting...
all great. It's great if it's a hip-hop event that happens every week that's meant to grow the game. Absolutely, it's dope. How sustainable is it, do we think about it, when it's started by a certain camp from a rapper? You know what I'm saying? If they have problems with anybody, is everybody allowed in there or just the people that they like? Is it then a hip-hop thing or is it just that hip-hop artist thing?
But then that's always going to be an issue regardless of whether you're an artist.
So then is it a thing that brings the game together?
But you see, I feel like you're scrutinizing something unnecessarily because if you are, for instance, I'm an event host. I'm going to invite my friends first because Kibata party and my friends must come to my party.
Sure, I get it.
So at the end of the day, my friends are going to come, their friends are going to come. If somebody that I don't want to be there, obviously they're not going to buy tickets. What is your point?
Yeah.
No, you're making it a culture thing as opposed to them just hosting and trying to build the game.
No, I get Sipo's point. I get Sipo's point. I'm cool with a clique. Sipo's like, I'm not cool with cliques. We need to see the whole ecosystem. You are saying, nah, bro. We'll get to the ecosystem later. I want to have fun with my friends.
What you're saying is a theory because hip-hop as it stands is already cliquey.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
The pretense of friends coming together or the hip-hop coming together, I don't want that to be the notion. And people must just say, this is like my event. And listen, what I'm saying is, I don't know what this event is going to turn into. And I'm not bashing Younger's event. I'm seeing a little bit of a trend and I'm speaking to what it could become later in the future. So what I'm speaking about currently is just a theory. I'm not saying that's what Younger was trying to do or what that event is about. That event was dope. What I'm saying, the idea of it and everything, I love it. It's fresh, bring people together. Let's have a good time. It's hip-hop, right?
We're not getting...
I'm just saying, let's not pretend as if it's something that is for the entire game. Because if it's not, then let's not market it that way.
One thing we're not getting rid of is clicks in life. That's it.
Because it happens everywhere.
That's one thing we are not getting rid of. Hallelujah, kumbaya, together, come together. We're not about that dating because it grows the game. Especially when you look at dance music. Look at dance music. It seems unified, isn't it? It looks like everyone is working together for the betterment of the genre. Well, him in the behind the scenes.
Yes, Maphorisa.
I don't want for it to be friends. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying cliques exist. Everybody has their own people that they roll with, and that's fine. Yeah. I'm saying cliques not getting along. Let's not pretend as if it's going to affect other people. It's fun.
So we must not leave out the guys that we are not friends with.
I'm saying
because it's a hip hop thing.
If we're calling it a hip hop thing, it's like what you call this? What's the Heritage Day concert that happens?
Oh, Back to the City.
Back to the City. See, Back to the City is a genuine hip hop event. Doesn't care who's beefing with what. You'll see everybody on that stage. Okay. Because the people that host it themselves, they can see the politics, but they're not about it. You know what I'm saying?
You meant the Freedom Day concert.
Yes.
Yeah, not Heritage
But do you think that if I am a rapper and I start something today, that all the people I have personal problems with, no matter how big or dope that they are at a certain time, that they'll be on my stage?
I mean, you gotta start somewhere, Sipo. Let them start.
I'm just saying, you see where this something that starts off looking innocent and like it's all dope and it's like, let's all show it love, could turn into something that a few months later we're looking back and we're like, I think I can see a little bit. And I'm saying that happens eventually because hip hop artists, they always start to beef with each other. Today you're on the lineup, tomorrow you're not because you said to someone.
I mean, but
then
also
then it's not a hip hop thing, it's a your thing.
But also watch
say it's Sipo's concert and Sipo's friends.
I get where you're coming from. I get where he's coming from, right? And I also appreciate the fact that he's standing by those guns because he's like, this genre of music in SA needs to be supported by everybody who's in it and who's interested in the betterment of this. And he's scared that can actually break up this genre that we love so much that is hip-hop.
If we pretend, rather people concentrate on the music. We shouldn't concentrate too much on coming together every single weekend to do things. Our hip-hop is very competitive. And I think that dilutes the music for a while. You know what I'm saying? People don't get as competitive when they feel like we're all just holding hands singing Kumbaya.
I hear you. Look, there is competition, but there's also support. And the thing is, as the fans, we will constantly...
balance. The fans will support.
We're constantly speaking about we don't speak to each other, we don't support each other, we need to collaborate. That's what people are saying on social media. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to go in the right direction. Yes, there will be cliques, but I think it'll be handled if it's going to be turned into a big-ass festival. Maybe say like the Cotton Fest of the
That's how people pull up.
It will happen.
Pull up thinking it's nice and then you catch hands. You see?
We'll see. And we're back with the most unpopular questions.
Smash.
Here on the podcast.
Give it unpopular question.
And you must answer
I must have it with an unpopular answer.
Unpopular answer. Okay. You ain't gotta worry about it. Okay, so these questions, I haven't read them. My producer just gave them to me literally 2 minutes ago. I also don't know what's gonna happen, so I'm reading it for the first time. Let's get to the spice.
Okay. Who answers these questions? Only everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody, brother.
Does tribalism exist in the music industry?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. For instance, like, just cultures not getting on.
Yeah.
Like, is the start.
Yes.
You know? But I also don't think, like, it's, like, outright in your face that, we are tribalists and we don't like that specific tribe. What do I quantify saying yes to? I'm a South African. Plain and simple, you know? Yeah, that's my take.
It definitely does exist. I mean, it exists in society, so it's going to trickle to every facet of of society, right? Whether it's music or television, we're going to find it. If we can find it in our neighborhoods, then we're going to find it where we work and where we do business and where we party and whatever, right?
Yeah.
How severe it is in the industry, it depends on which angle you're looking at. I'm from Mafikeng, Kibuas double HP, right? I remember what double HP when they were coming to Joburg back in the day, trying to push Motswako and them not get on stages because no one could understand what they were saying. I remember them going to Cape Town, to the Eastern Cape, to KZN, getting booed off stage because no one could understand what they were saying. They were still building. They were smashing those boundaries, paving the way for other kids from the Northwest who would eventually come and benefit from those hard work. You know what I mean? So those are the boundaries you break. That the language was a language barrier, but also it's like who's this Ishangan, Mangma? You know those comments come through. Let's keep it 100. We know exactly what happens, right? So it's like that. Most recently, it's a guy who was tagging me, as a rapper. Who's the guy that we spoke about? We did his album review on the show.
Bravo LaRue.
Bravo LaRue. Bravo LaRue tags me on a tweet and he's like, Xhosa rappers ain't getting no love. We know we've been trying, it's just younger. You know, he's breaking the barriers for us, but we can't get any interviews. We can't get on these podcasts. We can't get mentions anyway. People that are saying they don't understand us. Like, it starts a little bit and we say it's language, but if you look at the greater picture, it's a little bit more than that. You think, who can rap in Xhosa? Like, people say that, you know what I'm saying? They'll never say it on camera, but they'll say, I don't know, it's Xhosa guy, it's just younger. But also like, yo, we can spit. We're not getting any love because we're being
But also, I
off.
think you mentioned something very important. Understanding language basically sets you up whether you're going to engage or disengage.
I don't agree. I don't think you have to understand a language for you to feel the vibe of a song.
Yep.
Because there's plenty of times where I've seen, for instance, like Kuli going to perform in the Eastern Cape. Trust me, Eastern Cape Xhosas don't care who you are. If they see you're a black person, they're gonna speak to you in Xhosa. No matter where in South Africa you come from, they'll speak to you in Xhosa. But they were enjoying and singing stick him all the way through his whole performance.
Absolutely.
You understand? Shoma Josie. Perfect example. Most people in South Africa don't understand Tonga. So obviously, if she is relating to the rest of the country, it's about the vibe, it's about the energy.
But you guys are talking about big artists.
But
and I don't imagine
we're talking
the producer,
tribalism in music.
That's
we're not
what
talking about small artists.
Yeah, but that's what I would imagine the producer was thinking about.
Yeah.
From bottom all the way till the top. I like he mentioned the reference to Double HP. They would go and get booed. I like the fact that you mentioned Kulichana. Probably that was at the height of Kulichana. I've gone to Durban and people have said, yo, brah, you speak like Kulichana. I love that guy's music, right? And that means this guy is aware that this Setswana, he does not understand it, but he loves the dude's music. But I'm saying other people are just staunch about like, I don't get it. I don't understand it, so I'm going to dismiss it.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Before they even go into, does the music make me feel something?
Exactly.
So that's what I was touching on.
And what we need to get to is that, yes, it exists, but also we see from these artists, these examples that we're making, that now you can go to Eastern Cape as a Tswana guy and they'll jump to your song. They're crying for the Kulishanas to come down and the Caspers, and you know what I mean? And in Mafikeng, they'll cry for any Zulu rapper to come and do some stuff, because music breaks boundaries. And it breaks those barriers. Those that exist in our mind, those barriers that we have. If there's people who are apprehensive about a certain culture, you break it down with things like music. And you're like, hey man, what you thought Tonga people couldn't rap. You thought Venda people, you couldn't understand their language. You felt like you couldn't feel their vibe. You thought they're not part of the culture. Then you get a song and I put you on a guy, then suddenly you start to realize, oh shit, I had my own little prejudices that I was holding in, but this guy made me face them and made me realize that I had to deal with that shit and get past it.
And it's about the energy in the music. We're going to have to deal with this. I don't know. But I do have to get to the next question before Muchi goes on and on and on.
That's
all right.
right.
So
Did you throw away the other question?
No, it's here. Don't worry.
Just in case you repeat it.
No, I won't. Don't worry. Okay, another question. If someone says they don't like hip-hop, what songs would you play for them to change their mind?
I won't go first because I went first. I got to think about this.
Muchi, which songs would you play for them? If someone says they don't like hip-hop, would this be recent songs or would it be old songs?
Any song.
That's also tricky.
I wanna like differentiate her. Any song, 1 song, 2 songs, 3 songs.
Depending on what they like. Locally, I would start with artists like I'd pick some songs from Skanda Republic to try and woo them over. I'd pick some songs from its younger chief to try and bring them over. I'd pick songs from people like Bomo Rafe to try and bring them over. I'd start with these guys. There's an artist now I was thinking about whose name just left my mind. Yeah, so I'd definitely play some KO. I'd definitely play some Its Younger Chief. I'd definitely play you some Double HP.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'd get you in.
When I see Go first. Why don't you take all the artists? Like, what are you gonna say? All I have is international artists.
No, because I'm thinking locally, especially. Like, I'm thinking about house guys, possibly guys that you're trying to convince. Because I mean, those are
And that's the thing, when you're trying to convince a deep house guy to listen to hip hop, they're always complaining about American. So for me, it would always be the guys who keep it proudly South African, but also are trying to, give it a bit of a jiggy vibe. Because sometimes when it's hard raps, you're also just like, hey, you're talking too much. I don't know if I want to hear you. But you also just want to hear like good music because that's what kind of brings people over. Definitely, I would throw in a Questa in there. She's always been one of my favorites. I would. Who else would I throw in there? Definitely a Kid X. I've always been a big fan of his because I also think they keep it quite
This is very interesting the way they were going now.
Because
how we know how to save hip hop, but the artists that we're bringing. We're choosing artists that are very in vernacular, that connect very well with the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To kind of bring people into hip hop. What is that telling you? Those are our go-to artists. You're very safe and very heavy. No one is saying I'm gonna pick the #1 English guy. The #1 guy.
Wait, but like I'm not done though.
I'm just saying so far you see the long trend.
So also just watch out for the guys you collaborated with.
No, I'm not even bothered about the collaborations. I'm not even bothered. So
is that it? Kid X and Questa?
No, I mean obviously I'm saving artists for you. What are you complaining? Go.
I would definitely choose a Lucas Raps. I would definitely choose a Blackie.
Definitely.
I would definitely Stino Le 20.
Show Bloom.
I
agree you're complaining about Double HP, come on,
and you know, like, man, I don't know, man. Like, Focalistic, is he still hip hop? I think Foka is like amazing, man.
He's amazing, but he's full of
he's rapping.
Yeah, no. But hence I'm saying, like, I don't know. I kuzat myself.
He's definitely blurred those lines between dance, amapiano, and hip-hop. He's fused that thing to be his own thing.
But that makes it dope because then that means South African music can also be fused with different types of genres, but also still kind of keep it hip-hop.
Nasty C.
100%. And we're about to get into some brand new music and how we're feeling about the tunes that have been making the waves in South this past week. All right, so there's a song that came out that's 7 minutes long. Now, the one thing you must know about 7-minute songs is that they're never going to play on radio. But shout outs for doing something for the culture. DJ PH, he decided to make a remix for his song Serious, original song featuring Casper Nyovest as well as Makwa and Lady Do. On the remix, he said, I'm coming through with the fire. He's got Black Les, Reason, Zagwe, Low-Key, Trey, Blackie, Casper Nyovest, Roy, Lady Do, Sasso, Stino Litweni, Kid X, Tuli Stock, and Touchline. How you feeling about the tune, my boys?
No, I'm just gonna go straight in and say it did not move me.
Wow.
I need to listen to the song more than once so that I can catch what everybody is saying. Yeah. It's too many dudes trying to outbar each other.
But
so
that's
why
remixes.
No, but I get you asked me how it made me feel. So like I was not moved. Ke tlo mamela ga 4, 5, 6, 10 and then ke tla go bolela.
Okay, sharp. Muchi?
Now I'm crying first of all, give father's part.
I mean,
Lady Do thing.
Lady Do thing. Oh,
Lady Do. Okay, well.
Now when you come to a bra, you're like, well, ladies are.
Lady Do.
But wait, but before it gets heated, I did get word from PH that he did reach out to some of the ladies and maybe they didn't meet the deadline.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
so
cool.
He needed to continue. Unfortunately, they didn't meet the deadline of when he wanted to release the song.
The song itself, I actually liked. The raps on it, all those guys, all the oaks are spitting nicely, man. At the end there, I was even asking you, I was like, yo, who's the last guy? Or one of the last guys, and you said it was Touchline. I only listened to the song a few times. And I only listened to it twice because of that guy. I was trying to get what he was trying to say because he was trying to spit it for you guys. But I forgot what the rap is. But he said something dope at the end, something about, about your style as check it bag, check it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can translate it in English what you're saying, but I forgot what you're saying.
These
guys have stolen my style. So on their way out, check their pockets, check their bags, because they got my style. I went there. You know what I'm saying? Like I was getting the notion. I thought that was just a dope line. Yeah. But anyway, in terms of the raps, I mean, come on. Everyone on there brought it, I feel. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I was saying it didn't move me because like everybody is like out to outdo the other.
But that's the point of a remix. I think also a remix is to regenerate the original song, but also over and above that, it's also be like, okay, now we're doing something for the game over and above just it being a song. Because like I said, the song's not going to play on radio. It's not going to play in the club because it's too long.
Yeah.
So this is literally just about the bars because that's the intention of the song. You know what I mean? So I think you're right. Touchline was one of my favorites. Also, Zagwe also came through with the fire, said, hey, Deben, back in action.
But also,
you can always rely on Zagwe for that.
they kept Casper's original verse from the original song.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that's about. Check those out. It's a remix. It has not been remixed.
I guess.
I get where you're coming from.
And there's nothing wrong with the original song, but I'm saying it's a remix. So just give us the all fresh verses. The only thing you leave in the remix is maybe the chorus, but even that can change. But otherwise,
not really. The chorus must stay the same.
I'm saying so. Give us all new verses. There was no need to put Casper's verse again. He's on the original track. If you didn't give a remix verse, take it out. If Lady Do didn't give a remix verse, I pull me.
Okay, up next we do have as well Abidoza with Umjolo. He's featuring Buhle and Casper on this tune. I see it's a little bit of a return of the stars on this one because they were together on Siyathandana.
And after that Buhle's incident. I'm not surprised that a record like that came out.
I take it that they recorded the song before that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that a record like that came out after what happened.
Of course.
It might have been a situation where for Abidozo or Hamon, it's a bushon pill through passy. You know what I mean? Because it's an Abidozo song featuring Buhle Casper.
Yeah.
So it's a vibey song. It's Abidozo. Abidozo's production is clean. Shout out. Buhle's vocal prowess.
Yes.
Or better inside, And your verse totally hypey. But it's like, okay, sure, we get it. Let's keep it moving. Another song coming out of that little.
Yeah. Sometimes when people release a hit, it's like, okay, let's try and do it again. So shout outs to Abidoza. The beat was dope. I like the song. Maybe I like Siyathandana a little bit more than Umjolo. But it has to kind of grow on me a little bit. But yeah, I think it's got a vibe. So
yeah, I thought the song had a vibe. I thought the beat was kind of nice, and that's pretty much all I liked about it. Other than that, I thought it was pretty mild, to be honest.
Okay, moving on. All right, we've got Lucas Raps' debut album.
Yes, 031 to the world.
To the world.
Yeah.
I want the hip hop. Hip hop. My friend. Yes, my man. I'm coming around, my man. Yes, hip hop. That originally, yes, mother damn shit. Hey, man.
This is why you're not a rapper.
This is what I love about this album. As soon as I pressed play, it was hip hop.
Hip hop, dog. He does not even shy away.
It's the cleanest hip hop album I've heard in terms of hip hop. We're talking about the original hip hop side. This thing is rapidly rap. And when I say rapidly rap, I don't mean bars, Mars, stars. I mean, the kid is you can feel you can almost tell that his pants were sagging in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? You can tell he's a naughty hip hop boy. He's wearing chain, a t-shirt, but a big hip hop bass or whatever, and he's just going. And you know what? He sounds really good.
Yeah.
He put 26 minutes out, 11 tracks, and he didn't do too much. He did exactly what he wanted to do. I remember a few weeks ago we spoke about one of his songs, the Danga Freestyle.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And I still don't know what's going on there, but I know what's going on in the other 10 tracks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Very, very dope from Lucas. I thought it's just his fan base, I'm sure, is definitely going to grow.
And they're going crazy right now. They're going crazy. Yeah, no, Lucas Raps definitely has a fan base and he's got a following for what he has already put out. And like I mentioned in the past couple of episodes, is that I was just waiting to hear the full project. Yeah. Because sometimes you can hear one song and not understand where it fits in the whole project. So I was happy to hear everything else and see where it kind of sits. And yeah, man, I think he's really got a good career ahead of him. So shout out to Lucas Raps.
So I'm going to give the album 8 out of 10.
Okay. Out the gates?
Yeah. Let's go. Straight 8 out of 10. And number one, how easy it is to repeat the album. And you'll find yourself listening to the album more than 2 times.
The songs are like 2 minutes long.
Yeah. The longest song on there, I think, is 3 minutes, 20-something seconds, that's the longest song there. I also love the content that he decided to talk about. I had an interview with him recently, and he was telling me some of the records he recorded back in 2019.
Whoa.
So it is so impressive for a SoundCloud artist who's given a major deal to come on and actually say, I'm not compromising who I am because of a deal. And this is what I want to be known as. This guy who loves bars.
Yeah.
But like my bars are not trying to be like, I've got the best bars. And it's my delivery, my cadence, and my attitude.
Yeah.
With the production, man, big shout out to his producers as well for putting in the work.
Yeah, man.
It really is dope sounding, and I would encourage you to go and listen to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, another album that came out on the same day as 031 to the World was Father of Zen. We had also chatted about a couple of the songs that came through on that. So shout outs to Kid X, also came through with a nice, concise album. I liked that he also played around with the different sounds because Kid X can be rapper, and then he can also be a musician, and then he can also just do like a light-hearted type of song. So we got a little bit of a mixture of that with Father of Zen, and you can hear the maturity. Hence, I think he called it Father of Zen because he's saying, okay, sengikhulile manje, I'm giving you grown folk music. So,
I
big
heard
ups.
I heard that album first time, and I posted on IG. It is so good to hear new, good music. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Like I heard that full body of work, and I was like, Kid X. One thing that I also noted from the album, a rating 9 out of 10 for Kid X. One thing I noted from Kid X, he's versatile AF. Nobody can stop him. I don't know why Kid X hasn't worked with Maphorisa.
Yeah.
I do not know why those guys, because whatever Sony has between Maphorisa and Kid X, they need to bring those two guys together to work on something. It does not have to be a piano album. It does not have to be a hip-hop album. It just needs to be a musical album. Plain and simple. He touches on real life. He touches on societal issues. He touches on the boom bap aspect. And then he went piano. There's a record there, available. I was like, whoa, hold on. Yeah, so
X
that's
in terms of versatility, I mean, as a lyricist, of course, we know he's definitely one of the top ones. Very, very dope lyricist. The versatility that he's showing with this album, again, speaks to his talents. And he himself will tell you before anybody else that I'm versatile AF. You know what I mean? I was watching an interview of his and he was letting the guys know that, look, I'm versatile. And I see myself as one of the most versatile artists in the world. Shout out to him for having that confidence and moving that way. Because first of all, if you don't believe in yourself like that, then there's no need to get out the house. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to X. This album is sounding dope. I'm enjoying it more and more with every listen. And it is so different from his last album. I say so different. It's different and similar in ways that I will begin to explain maybe as I begin to unpack each track. But you're right, he touches on so many real things. And all you have to do is just lend him your ear and sit back and hear this guy take you on a very nice journey. Very, very dope album. We just spoke about a hip-hop album that's bang, Lucas raps. The contrast to this type of album, which is also hip-hop, but like a different type of sound, but also very, very dope
and that's
music.
what we need, man.
Clean cut. Shout outs to Kid X, Father of Zen. Go and check out all those albums and all of those songs. Also, let us know your comments and your thoughts on the music as well. And before we actually say our goodbyes, there was one album we didn't get to really touch on, which was Mass Music's Abuti Eshab. But I think Mass Music is a really dope artist.
I think so too.
He's a big producer. He's done a lot of dope stuff with the camp with Maphorisa and them as well.
Quietly so.
Quietly so as well. But I'm glad to see his project come out the way that it did. The music is really dope. He's featuring so many really awesome artists. There's also so many new artists. And sometimes I struggle, especially with rappers. You know, when they've got these funny names, you're just like, what's going on? You know, and I see them all on the credits. I'm like, Youngstana, Bo, Ankuli 501. I'm like, hey, people are coming with their Twitter names as their artist names.
There's nothing wrong. Also, let's appreciate, because like, you know, we don't want people to forget who I am. And click on that follow in case you
missed it.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was a dope dance music as well. I mean, I'm enjoying my piano right now. There's a lot of fresh sounds on there. If you know Mass Music, you know he's a dope producer, not just for himself, but for the other kids as well. If you know anything about him as well, you know he's in the same camp with Maphorisa and Bo Kabza. They're all under the same management, and several artists that he features on there under the same label, New Money Gang. So shout out to them. You can see the influence. You can see the sound is being borrowed and shared, and there's a community of these guys, and they're just chandering out music and chandering out hits. Very well produced album as well. So the sound in it is crisp, it's clean, and I think there's definitely a lot of hits that are gonna come.
Mass Music has got a big future ahead of him. I'm excited.
I'll give the album a 9 out of 10. Mass Music is a fire producer, guys. So one thing that I did pick up though from the album is you are hearing Mass Music's influence on every other hot big song out there, without being like, dog, I was the guy behind that song.
Yeah.
You know what Pori is right now, like reminding everybody that
King
he actually worked on the work. And also what I appreciate about the album is his bravery for featuring a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
And going with that, because Amapiano is in the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you need to speak to what the streets wants. And if the streets are welcoming the unknowns and not waiting for the big acts to come through and be featured, give them what they want.
And that's exactly what Piano's doing. They're just saying
free.
all the new artists.
They're free, bro.
Artists now before who am I gonna feature on my track? Is he dope? When did he make a hit?
Like, what's the style of the music? Is it selling now? So it's not even about that for them. They know, like, no, this resonates. You must also take a listen to the content, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You're like, this is real hungry people who've been waiting for their chance. So
exactly.
kudos.
And you see it with the flyers now, especially now that we're on level 1. Hey, the flyers are just going to be full of all of these Twitter names all over. But I'm about it. I'm
When
not
are you
hating.
going in on the Twitter names?
I'm not hating. I'm about it. The thing is, for me, I also appreciate seeing people I don't know because I appreciate going to an event and being like, oh, I heard the song in my car. Oh, that's the guy. Because for me, that's the exciting part for me to go out now. I don't want to go and see somebody I've seen perform 10 million times. I want to see somebody fresh who's going to take my breath away. And that's what's going to happen now, especially with all these new artists being featured, because now I'm going to see a face to a name. I'll be like, I see you, bro. I'm gonna search your music now and
then
check
the
you out.
breath will be taken away.
You know what I mean? That's all I want. That's all I want.
Fresh as you like.
Fresh.
Shut up, man.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us for another hot episode of the POPcast. Thank you to our guests, Smash Africa. Where can we catch
So
you?
bafethu and like alona hale kra show ya no to nna tenda ka pa. Nah, I'm just playing games.
Spike
Man.
stress, yo.
It's always love, Smash. Good having you here with us, man. The energy is always amazing. I love it.
appreciate
And I
you
hope
too,
we'll have
man.
you back here getting into more trouble together.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Where can people catch you, Smash?
I'm on the radio Monday to Thursday between 7 and 10 p.m. to the power of 5 nights. Let's rock. One thing that we do is celebrate SA music. You need to listen to the charts Monday to Thursday between 9 and 10. Indie pop, hip hop, as well as dance music. Fridays, massive music, Mzansi Magic, channel 161. Of course, the big O on the repeat every Wednesday as well and every other day. Outside of that, man, I'm just building a family, trying to get my millions right.
Hey, got a baby now, wearing a ring. There's a whole lot. Smash wants us to get married. That ain't gonna happen. All right, so Muchi.
When did I say that? Shame on you, man.
Anyway, Muchi, thank you so much for coming through again. We're gonna see you again
stay here
next
with
week.
She's thanking me like, thank you for coming through.
No, but
I hope I see you next
You
week.
know the thing is, I never know if people are coming back because I've been losing people right now.
Shame. Yeah, no, but Mama Jimmy, she just lives, you're living on the edge.
I'm on the edge every week. I hope you'll be back.
As industry,
I hope you'll be back. All right, so we will be back right here on the POPcast to still have real views, what matters to Muchi, as well as the Artscape.
Let's go. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to What Matters to Muchi. It's your boy, Muchi, right here on the POPcast. Now, this week, what matters to me is very, very simple. Album rollout. Now, you've sat there and you've created an entire body of work. You've worked so hard, so many producers, so many features. You finally put the package together. You put it on the DSPs. You sell it physical copy. And then you just sit back and you wait. Or maybe you just market it by doing promos. You go to radio, maybe you push it on the internet. Album rollout is very, very important. Your loving body of work that you took so much time to put together deserves a lot more attention from you, and it deserves a lot more creativity. Everybody is doing the same thing, so why not stand out? I remember when Soulja Boy dropped his album or his song back in the day, part of his rollout was going onto the internet and changing his album, his track name from Crank That to In the Club was the #1 record at the time. People would go on trying to find 50 Cent in the club and they would bump into Crank That. And they were like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Like, I remember one artist released an album called Naked Something, and he had a bunch of naked guys in New York City handing out these flyers. And everyone was wondering, who are these naked guys handing out these flyers? I remember there was a group, I forgot the name of the group, but they're a rock band. They released an album, and part of their rollout was releasing emails where they tease people. They'd release SMSs, and they tease their fan base because they're a very indie fan base. And then they left they leaked their own album by leaving it in the bathroom of a club somewhere. I mean, things like this that get people talking are important when you think about your album rollout. Don't just put your album out there and depend on traditional media to push it or the internet. Get creative about how you're actually rolling it out. Most recently, of course, we saw the whole Donda CLB going head to head, and we saw CLB putting out posters in cities of the people that he featured. I mean, that's a dope thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's big budget stuff. And as an artist, especially as a new artist, you may not have that kind of budget, but you definitely have the creativity to do more than the nothing that you're doing right now. So take some time to learn about album rollouts, see who's done it better, who's done it worse, especially now in the digital age, in this weird year we've been living in, and find out what creative things people have been doing to be able to reach their audience in better ways. Back in the day, Oaks used to release their numbers. There was a guy called Mike Jones. Mike Jones had a cell number. He put it out to all his people, and all of them called him, and he'd answer the phone and speak to his fans as part of his album rollout. I mean, things like that. Big Sean did something similar when he released his last album, is it Dark Sky Paradise? Sky Kaida. But I mean, these are things that I'm talking about. They're interesting. They create talkability. And in the age of the internet, they do a lot of promotion for you. So album rollout, album rollout, album rollout. Give it the attention that it deserves. This is what matters to Muchi. See you next week. Yeah.
What's up, what's up? So we're still here on the POPcast, and this is The Real View. So for this week, I watched another proudly South African movie, which actually just dropped onto Showmax. It's called Umakoti Wethu. And as much as a lot of the productions that are coming through on Showmax are very locally based and a lot more traditional language type of shows, it's really interesting to actually see the storylines because they are also kind of set in what's happening in today's society and the things that we are facing as well. So this one kind of speaks about a couple that recently gets married, obviously two completely different cultures. The one girl is Venda, and the husband is Zulu, and how they have to deal within their marriage. And a certain situation that kind of crops up a little bit later on about whether the wife might be looking in another direction with regards to is she interested in girls or is she interested in boys? You have to check out the movie and, of course, check it out and let me know your thoughts on it. I thought it was a really great production, and the way that they had put the story together also is one of those conversations we need to have as a community. So do check it out. Hit me up with some of your comments as well on the social media, and hit me up on the comments here on POPcast on the YouTube page. Check you out next week.
What shall we do today? We're gonna try and tell people about this art. We told you guys about Uzandile Chabalala. She had her showcase exhibition at Miami Art Basel, and she had people like Samuel L. Jackson just loving her work. Sticking on the international front, we have two local artists that are doing big things overseas. Zawqala ngalo Mjita because his exhibition is currently happening right now in Los Angeles, and it's drawing some major names. Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, just to name a few. Ditetango Nelson Magamo. He's got an exhibition happening right now in Los Angeles, a solo exhibition, by the way. It's called Blue. And then Zawtitsi Gata and speak about another artist all the way from Durban. I was out there just this past week because Uwanda Buhle was showing us the work that he's going to be putting on a plane and making it travel all the way to London, England, and Paris, France. That's where his following solo exhibitions are going to be taking place. Ungalibali ukuba Uwanda Buhle just comes off an enormous sale at the Christie's auction. Google Christie's auction, you'll know what a big deal it is. Right now, I want to talk about a dude that I saw on my Explorer on Instagram. Igama lalo mjita Nick Davis. I do not know where he's from, but I know that he is not from South Africa or Africa. Well, he is by the virtue of that he's black, but I think he lives overseas. Nick Davis. You can catch him on www.ND Art Life. He's also called ND Art Life on Instagram. Umsebenzi wakhe is just amazing. Uyazibonela nawe. You don't need no other body. Dimkile.